Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. If I look a little tired, it's because I am. Let's talk a little history. So, some of you don't know who this person is I'm about to talk to, which actually makes me kind of sad. And he's still alive and he's in his 90s. This is my original debut, some people call it. Some people call it a theater insert, depending on where you're in the United States or Europe. But this is my original House of Usher, signed by to Joe Roger Corman. I got to meet Roger Corman several years ago with James Thomas, my dear friend. What was odd about it was that we were at a film festival and there was another guy there. I won't say who he is, but he played Michael Myers in a Halloween movie directed by Rob Zombie, two of them. And his line is out the door. But he's not Roger Corman. He was right next to Roger Corman, and we thought, oh, we'll have to wait in line forever to meet Roger. Well, we didn't, and it was kind of sad. It was fantastic that I finally got to meet Roger Corman. And I thought, how many more days do I have? Well, it was 10 years ago, and he's still kicking, and that's great. He's still making movies. In the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, actually starting with 1960, he made a lot of Edgar Allan Poe films that had very little to do with Edgar Allan Poe and had a lot to do with Vincent Price. Some of them, like The Tomb of Lygia, is one of Martin Scorsese's favorite. I'm not going to talk about that. Some of them, like The Comedy of Terrors, hilarious. The Raven is a lot of fun. But I'm not going to talk about that one either, because The Raven, they had to make a plot up for it. I want to talk about my two favorites. One, the first one, being House of Usher, based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. It's written by Richard Matheson. Now, Richard Matheson wrote a lot of Twilight Zone episodes. In fact, my two favorite, upon entering his fiancee's family mansion, a man discovers a savage family curse and fears that his future brother-in-law has attuned his bride to be prematurely. These movies were fantastic. They're like gothic horror. There's a lot of set pieces, a lot of overacting. But Vincent Price is amazing because if you've never seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice for not watching these. He made all these movies for AIP. That's American International Pictures. The guy named Samuel Z. Arkoff. My second favorite actually sometimes is my favorite, depending. You know what? Screw it. These are my two favorites. I don't know which one's better. If you actually look them up on IMDb, they're both listed right at 7.0. Is The Mask of the Red Death. Now, The Mask of the Red Death, a European prince, terrorizes a local, I'm going to read this straight from IMDb, terrorizes a local peasantry while using his castle as a refuge against the Red Death plague that stalks the land. Now, that's a little apropos right now, considering we're in the middle of COVID, but it's a metaphor for so many different things. But it's also a dark comedy, and it was written by a guy named Charles Beaumont. If you like The Twilight Zone, I guarantee one of your favorite Twilight Zone episodes was written by at least these three men, either Rod Serling, Richard Matheson, or Charles Beaumont, that they wrote my two favorite AIP Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe films. Vincent Price plays the bad guy, and he's a devil worshiper in this one. He talks about how much he loves the devil. It's just a fun movie, and it's garish colors. It's beautiful with the death and all the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I can't recommend The Mask of the Red Death enough. I love this movie. Okay, I may like it a little bit more than The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't know. If you have a Shudder account, I think they're both on Shudder. I actually own them, and like I said, I own the poster, the original one from 60. Oh my God, this poster, by the way, is 60 years old. Imagine that. Signed by the 94-year-old director. I actually can't remember where he's at in his 90s. I highly recommend House of Usher, Mask of Red Death. Then go into The Raven. It's hilarious. Comedy of Terrors, Tomb of Lygia. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Maybe I'll see some of you all drunk Saturday night. Topless? Maybe Wes? Wes topless.